Long before the Fellowship, before the Ring of Power returned to the hands of men, there was another war, a war that would forge the very heart of Rohan. This is the War of the Rohirrim. Centuries before the time of Aragorn and Theoden, Middle-earth was a land divided by greed, fear and blood. In the golden fields of Rohan, a mighty king ruled, Helm Hammerhand, a man of honor, a warrior of unmatched strength. His fists were said to strike harder than any sword, his courage, unbroken by storm or steel. But even legends have their darkest hours. From the east came whispers of rebellion, shadowed alliances and men hungry for power. The Dunlendings, ancient enemies of Rohan, gathered under the banner of vengeance. Their leader, Fricka, a man of pride and ambition, demanded his son wed Helm's daughter, to unite their bloodlines. But Helm, the proud king, refused. And in that refusal, destiny was written in fire and blood. Music rises, thunder cracks, wind howls across icy plains. At a feast meant for peace, words turn to rage. Fricka mocked the king, calling him old and weak. And with a single blow, Helm Hammerhand struck him dead. That single act would ignite a war that would echo for generations. Now Rohan stands on the brink of destruction. Enemies gather at its borders. Winter descends, cruel and merciless. And the king must lead his people through the darkest night the Rittermark has ever known. Pause, soft wind sounds, melancholic violin begins. But this is not merely a tale of war. It is a story of sacrifice, of loyalty, of the unbreakable spirit of men who dared to stand against the storm. Music fades into deep silence. Narrator, low emotional tone. The War of the Rohirrim has begun. Long before the Fellowship, before the Ring of Power returned to the hands of men, there was another war, a war that would forge the very heart of Rohan. This is the War of the Rohirrim. Centuries before the time of Aragorn and Theoden Middle Ea. In the heart of winter, Rohan trembled. The proud halls of Edoras were silent, its king burdened with guilt, and its people haunted by fear. Helm Hammerhand, the mighty king, had slain Fricka, and now the Dunlendings sought revenge. An army vast and cruel, led by Fricka's son, Wolf. From the mountains to the plains, they marched, burning villages, slaughtering riders, leaving nothing but ashes behind. Rohan was bleeding, and the king had only one place left to make his stand. Music deepens, low drums echo as snow begins to fall. Helm led his people to the stronghold of the Hornburg, later known to the world as Helm's Deep, a fortress carved into the roots of the White Mountains, ancient, unyielding, a refuge for the desperate. Men, women, and children fled there, their eyes filled with dread. As the gates closed behind them, Helm looked to the sky, whispering a silent vow. If Rohan must fall, it will fall fighting. Thunder rumbles. The first snow begins to fall heavier. Days turn to weeks. The Dunlendings surrounded Helm's Deep, cutting off all escape. Food grew scarce, and the cold merciless. But Helm's spirit did not break. He stood at the walls, his breath freezing in the air, his heart burning with fury. Each night he donned his white cloak, ghost-like in the snow, and walked alone into the darkness. Unarmed, unseen. And when morning came, enemies were found slain, their faces frozen in terror. They began to call him Helm the Hammerhand, the ghost king who struck without warning. Music builds, eerie, ghostly whispers fill the background. Fear spread among the enemy ranks. They spoke of a phantom haunting the hills, a spirit of vengeance born of the storm. But Helm was no ghost. He was a man, starving, grieving, yet unbroken. Inside the fortress, his people suffered. His sons rode out to fight, and never returned. Helm's heart grew colder than the snow that buried his land. Still he fought with fists, with courage, with the loss. Winter finally broke. The snows melted from the mountains, and the plains of Rohan were revealed once more. But the kingdom was in ruin. The once golden fields were scarred by war and fire. Helm Hammerhand, the mightiest of kings, was gone. Yet his shadow remained, guarding the stronghold he died to protect. From the ashes of that brutal war rose a new hope. Helm's nephew Frelaf gathered what strength remained of Rohan's warriors. Men who had lost families, homes, and brothers. They looked to Frelaf not only as a leader, but as the living flame of Helm's will. Music builds softly, with the sound of galloping horses in the distance. Freelaf struck back.